In Florida, USA, there's a particular road that drivers dread to use, a highway more dangerous than all others. Interstate 4 has long been plaguing the local police.
Are y'all in northbound or southbound lanes?
Lieutenant Robert Walmsley is rushing to the scene of an accident. A man walking along the roadside has been hit by a vehicle.
We had a hit-and-run fatality is what it sounds like in our southwest district. A hit-and-run is when there's a crash. The party involved in the crash doesn't stay. Happens more than we would like.
This is already the 10th hit-and-run incident this week, and this time the police officer is in for a nasty shock. At the scene, the victim is beyond chance of survival. The body is laid on the ground, covered by an orange sheet. It's a 43-year-old father. The forensic police thoroughly investigate the crime scene.
Ultimate goal is to identify the person that committed the crime and hold them accountable, make an arrest. These guys right here are the best of the best at what they do, and it's another day at the office, and we have to go gather all the evidence and put the puzzle together.
The perpetrator of this hit-and-run seems to have taken off, but he has left a trail of clues behind.
You look at if there's any vehicle parts, you look at surface injuries to the people involved, people or person involved.
The experts are now investigating the leftover wreckage from the car. The suspect is believed to be driving a black pickup truck. He collided head-on with the victim on a pedestrian-only part of the road, marked out by white lines.
It was fatal injuries that they suffered, so that's horrific. You never know on one of these cases if there was the potential that they could have survived had the violator stopped and rendered aid. So there's quite a bit of things that are bothersome about these. It's a horrible, painful way to die, I would imagine.
The person responsible for this fatal hit-and-run has not yet been identified. For the victim's family, the circumstances surrounding the tragedy remain a mystery. In 2021, 190 people lost their lives on Interstate 4, one of the deadliest roads in the United States. Situated on America's southeastern coast and with a population of over 22 million, Florida, also known as the Sunshine State, has been ranked as the third worst state for road safety, with nearly 3,000 deaths every year. One highway in particular has earned a notoriously bleak reputation: Interstate 4.
I-4 is shut down in North Lakeland right now after a deadly crossover accident.
This 213-kilometer stretch links the city of Tampa in the west to Daytona in the east. The road passes through Orlando and serves must-see attractions such as Disneyland and Universal theme parks. The route is used by 90,000 motorists every day, so you really don't want to be hit by another vehicle.
Mami, me acaban de chocar.
In a country where 1 in 4 motorists drive without insurance, hit-and-runs are a major problem. 8 times out of 10, the drivers responsible for the collision try to flee the scene. Despite the police's every effort in Florida, some driving offenders will do anything to avoid being arrested, even if it means defying the law in wild car chases.
One of our guys is back here.
With flawless road surfaces and no bends in sight, Interstate 4 is a petrolhead's dream, driving at speeds of up to 200 kilometers an hour.
Oh my God, we caught him so quick. I'm so sorry.
Risking their lives and those of other motorists. There are constant road accidents, testing the patience of local firefighters who are regularly faced with the most tragic cases.
I don't remember how many kids were in the vehicle, but I think there was a couple of adults, and then it was a 15-passenger van, so there was a lot of kids.
With its sunshine and palm trees, Florida attracts thousands of retirees every year wanting to spend their retirement there. Seniors who have no intention of giving up their driving privileges despite their impaired senses. In the Sunshine State, there's no age limit on driving and no compulsory test to keep one's license. As a result, the elderly community is responsible for 1 out of every 4 fatal accidents, tragedies that leave entire families grieving.
And it just keeps any clouds right into the store.
This is a deep dive into what happens on Interstate 4, a highway fraught with danger and disaster. The Florida Police Department has a nifty tool at its disposal for tracking down reckless drivers.
Hello. Good morning.
In this huge control room, 30 people work on shift, their eyes fixed to the 90 screens displaying footage from the surveillance cameras installed along the I-4 motorway.
This is a bowlover. It's a straight road in sector 45.
Do you need an ambulance?
From hit and runs to speeding, nothing gets past the police. Like this white minivan driving way over the speed limit. It refused to pull over during a police check. All nearby patrol vehicles are alerted.
On something and where? Are you still on at 40?
Lieutenant Robert Wormsley is attempting to intercept the suspect vehicle. At the moment, all he knows is that the perpetrator is going in the other direction.
37 eastbound or westbound?
Have you seen something?
One of our guys is back here.
When suddenly, after a risky U-turn, the policeman manages to get in the opposite lane and sets off in pursuit of the white minivan. But just 1 kilometer ahead, this unmarked police car had already overtaken the lieutenant and intercepted the fugitive. Robert Wormsley holds back. Other occupants of the van could emerge, potentially armed. 1 in 10 Florida residents owns a firearm, the highest rate in all of the USA.
Well, I was doing some move over with Johnston. Johnston, I thought I was ahead of him. The van was at 71 on the outside lane. I might passed me and Johnston. Stopped him, and then he got an FTC suspension, fair to pay. For that.
In Florida, a driver's license has 24 points. If a driver loses half of them, they will be suspended for 6 months. Losing all of them warrants a 3-year driving suspension. After receiving 6 speeding offenses, this driver has lost all his points and should therefore not have been driving. Except that the driver claims to have not been made aware of this, which changes everything.
They learned that his license was suspended without his knowledge. So if your license is suspended with knowledge, it's a criminal offense. So unknowingly, it's a civil citation.
In their system, the police found that the man had in fact never received any notification. Because of this administrative oversight, the police officers had no choice but to be more lenient with the driver.
For unknowingly driving a license suspended. If you knew about your license suspension, you'd be going to jail. Okay?
The driver was fined $750. They then address his refusal to obey the law by driving away from the police and initiating the car chase. Not surprisingly, the police aren't being quite so lenient this time.
And come to find out, my license has been suspended for 2 years. So, I mean, everything is fine. Luckily, I'm not going to jail because it was just brought to my knowledge today about my license being suspended. But since I did fail to get over, I still got 2 tickets, so.
The minivan is undrivable, so it will be towed away. The speeding driver left with a relative who came to collect him. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the chase this time. But on the multi-lane straights of Interstate 4, catching suspects driving at breakneck speed can prove difficult. These chases are regularly broadcast on television. 1 out of every 10 has a fatal outcome.
Northbound, this is a 2019 white Honda Civic. Right there, you see a state trooper.
The chase came to a deadly end. Roy.
According to investigators with the FBI, it was just after 4 when 2 armed suspects stormed into the Regency jewelry store in Coral Gables and lead police in a high-speed chase through Miami. Bullets as dozens of officers from multiple agencies.
The police often have to resort to arms. Because some offenders will do anything to escape. In this footage filmed from a police helicopter, a man under the influence of methamphetamine, a hard drug, drives off in a law enforcement vehicle stolen a few minutes earlier. Several police patrols are on his tail. One of them drives into the back of him. He loses control of the vehicle and tries to run away. The individual is soon surrounded. Yet he manages to escape from the woods and steals another police car. The 20 or so police officers are stunned as he speeds off right under their noses. The chase resumes at nearly 160 kilometers an hour. On this long straight, it's difficult to stop the suspect in his tracks.
Okay, we got units coming up just south of Dunlawton. It's the only vehicle coming at you, center lane, blue lights on.
But the police have a trick up their sleeve, stingers. No tire stands a chance up against this trusty piece of equipment. As always, the spiky weapon does just the trick.
Vehicle smoking, north of 95, or north of Dunlawton by about a half mile.
With flat tires, the reckless driver can't go any further. He's forced to stop.
It's side lane, he's starting to slow down.
But the police remain on guard. The individual might have a collection of firearms at his disposal.
I need to know if there's any guns in that car that he just stole in the front.
The police approach the car, ready to fire.
10-3, 10-3.
But in the end, the subject decided to give himself up without a struggle. Handcuffed, he begins to mumble incoherently.
The devil, FBI, say CIA, DEA, Harvard. I can't put it down. I say Fred.
The individual was subsequently sentenced to 7 years in prison. In 2021, Interstate 4 witnessed 960 car chases. A completely different setting can be found less than 500 meters from the highway, the Sunshine State's famous beaches. Florida is a favorite vacation spot among Americans. Known for its luxury destinations, the state attracts wealthy people who come to enjoy some sun. When Derek comes to Miami, he wants to look around and be looked at.
How's everything?
Good to see you, buddy.
How was the flight?
It was good. I'm a bit jet lagged, you know? I see we have 2 hours.
He has an appointment with Ricardo, a luxury car hire company.
It's a bit snug, yeah?
This is the key to the
Okay.
magic.
Ah, I like it. I think I have meetings today, so I think I'm going to take the yours. Yes, let's do. I'd have to come back and try this out.
Derek opts for the Lamborghini Urus, worth $225,000.
I saw it looks brand new, no?
Yes.
A typical rental contract, except much more expensive, with Derek splashing out $1,600 for the day.
Yeah, let's go with this one. I like this one.
You will pick this one?
Yeah,
definitely.
let's do it. Any damages? No, it looks brand new, no?
24-hour rental.
A speed machine that can reach 325 kilometers an hour. Before setting off, Ricardo cautions his customer.
I have people that come to Miami and sometimes they like to go a little bit out of their character.
Zone. I see.
Yes.
I've seen a couple of those.
So, push the start.
Oh, wow.
And wake up the beast.
It's like a fighter jet.
Yes.
Amazing.
A fighter jet that anyone can drive. Many people come to Florida to flaunt their wealth or success, so luxury car hire has become commonplace. Derek is well versed in the art of fast cars.
I think everyone that sees these vehicles want to envision themselves in the vehicle as well. And I think it's not the luxury car itself. I think it's just what it represents.
He often rents luxury cars and is even considering purchasing this one.
I'm a bit impulsive, so I wanted to know how it feels, maybe be able to purchase one. I'm very trained, so don't replicate this in any way, shape, or form. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the MacArthur Bridge, go under the tunnel, and have some fun.
So to make up his mind, Derek wants to test the car's limits, even if it means driving well over 110 kilometers an hour, the maximum authorized speed.
Definitely has it. Holy shit!
Oh my God, we caught up so quick. I'm so sorry.
Wow, really it gets going. Feels great. Oh my goodness. I like this car. It's like ready to go, like I was saying. It's like very edgy. It's like it wants more.
Fueled by adrenaline, the young man takes every risk while at the wheel.
We just hit 110, I think. And you have so much speed, you can overtake anyone at any time that you want. This is the most hilarious thing ever. I'm sorry. Oh my God, this car makes a smile to my face. I didn't expect the SUV to have my heart pumping like this. Whew.
These cutting-edge vehicles can be rather unsettling for slower drivers. There have been countless accidents on these roads caused by adrenaline junkies who drive dangerously in cars that they've rented for the day.
For people that are not used to it, your reaction time is not quick enough to be able to understand what's going on. It'll give you a false sense of trust because you have so much power in a more easier to drive, less horsepower car.
Today, Derek is able to take the streets of Miami by storm. Florida welcomes almost 30 million holidaymakers every year. It's also a pensioner's paradise. In 2022 alone, 68,000 people made the Sunshine State their new home. It has the highest number of senior citizens in the country. 1 out of every 5 residents is retired. And in this state, where everything requires a car, giving up driving is not an option for many elderly people, often for fear of ending up isolated. Many take to the road even though their senses have started to fail them. Shopping centers are dotted all along the Interstate 4, and in Florida they have astonishingly high accident rates. Maria runs this kitchenware shop.
So the car entered right where that car is the parking space where she was trying to park.
Around 10 a.m. on the 12th of May 2022, a retired woman arrived at this car park. Shortly afterwards, as she was trying to park, she made a mistake. Instead of backing up, she accelerated.
And she came right in through those 2 panels. You can still see the tire marks as we never were able to get them off the floor. They're still there.
The car went out of control.
Would you coming in from there?
Yeah.
But my initial thought was just to make sure that the driver was well, to attend to her. Her immediate reaction was, she was trying to get out of the car. She kept apologizing. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Luckily, it was a miracle that I was by myself that morning.
I was pulling into the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just took off. Shit.
Ain't no more nice pictures now. All okay?
The pensioner almost killed herself.
This corner, right at her eye, like right on her face.
Maria's shop was completely destroyed.
The impact was so hard that she actually went into the next door pizza place, which is why all these walls are brand new. We're still in the process of renovating, so as you can see, we still haven't gotten to this display where...
This kind of tragedy is all too common in Florida. 1 accident in 4 is caused by a driver over the age of 60. There is no age limit for driving here and no compulsory test to keep your license. And even though in Florida the cost of car insurance is 20% more expensive for senior citizens, retired people aren't afraid of coughing up big money. Some even go so far as to spend $3,500 a year in order to comply with the law, but often at their own risk.
Investigators say a 65-year-old driver lost control of her car on Spring Hill Drive, sideswiping a truck and car, then colliding with the restaurant, knocking several customers over.
It's almost always the same old story. Elderly people confusing the brake with the accelerator.
I was going to the doctor's office, so I was looking for it, and I guess I ran into a police car. I didn't even notice.
Distracted drivers, as shown in this video of a 76-year-old woman speeding through a supermarket, mowing down 10 people at the entrance and in the aisles, including a baby. Miraculously, they all survived, but the shock was terrible. This kind of tragedy is becoming more common with every passing year, an issue that the authorities are trying to eradicate through awareness campaigns.
Whether you're driving or not, the Safe Mobility for Life Coalition created a site specifically for Florida residents.
The government is encouraging senior citizens to travel by bike or carpool. They are also offering them eye tests. And the police are even raising awareness with drivers while they're behind the wheel. But nothing can be done, and these accidents are leaving more and more families devastated.
In a quarter mile, turn left into the parking lot.
Sol Pepa Gaitan knows this all too well.
The population ages really fast, you know. People that move here for their retirement, in a matter of 10 years, they're already senior drivers. And a lot of them have impaired senses. An elderly person, anybody over 65, cannot turn their heads all the way to look to the left or to the right.
She takes us to a small shopping center, one of many in this Miami suburb.
Arrived.
So this is what this man did. Her store used to be where it says home services. So the old man came in with this oversized SUV or like old truck, and he was trying to park right here, right where this car is.
This is where she lost her sister Celeste in 2011 in a terrible accident. She was just 33 years old and 6 months pregnant. So Peppa rarely visits the scene of the accident. She's still traumatized.
Okay, so this is the shopping center where Celeste used to have her store. There used to be a bench right here. And that particular day, her friend had gotten her hair done at the hair salon, and they were standing right here. And all of a sudden, this man starts to try to park right here. And he can't do it. He confuses the gas, the brakes, and it just keeps, and it plows right into the store. Her friend didn't stand a chance. She died right on the spot. My sister, I guess she survived the impact, and her body ended up all the way inside the store.
The doctors tried in vain to save Celeste and her unborn baby.
This little shopping center was her life. She was so happy. She said, I have everything that I need right here.
The driver was 77 years old and had simply come to do some shopping. His pickup drove over the yellow curb, which was barely 15 centimeters long, without any resistance. Sol Peppa is fighting for better protection for the areas around shopping malls.
Number one, a little bit of protection. This curb right here did not provide any protection. ATMs are protected with the barriers, you know, the poles that are filled with concrete and made out of steel. Why not humans?
She is campaigning for metal bollards to be installed so that tragedies like the one she endured do not happen again. On the long and endless straights of Interstate 4, one of the main dangers is tiredness. On this monotonous road without a single bend, 3 out of 10 accidents are caused by drivers who have fallen asleep at the wheel. In 2018, near Tampa, a camera captured the moment that this lorry driver, who had fallen asleep at the wheel, collided with these 2 cars that had stopped on the hard shoulder. They were hit at nearly 120 kilometers an hour. The victims were only slightly injured, and the driver, who was briskly awakened by the force of the impact, miraculously escaped unhurt. But sometimes the consequences of falling asleep at the wheel can be deadly, like an accident that took place on the 3rd of January 2019.
Breaking news.
Several young lives are among the dead after a fiery crash on a Florida.
That day, Lieutenant Brian Ferguson, a 20-year-old fireman, was among the first to respond.
So when we got here, this is where we ended up turning around. They had all the traffic southbound on I-75 shut down.
For a long time, he refused to return to the scene of the accident, but now he wants to tell the new recruits about his experience.
It's obviously a very eerie feeling. You never see these roads not flowing with traffic. You can see how heavy the traffic is right now, especially.
Just minutes before his arrival, several families were off to spend the weekend at Disneyland when their lives were turned upside down in a horrific accident.
That semi came across. There was a car on the inside lane.
This footage was filmed by one of the driver's dash cams. In the right-hand lane, several cars were driving along at a leisurely pace when all of a sudden,
When it came across, it took that vehicle and then it hit that van. Clipped the van and then hit that other semi head on.
the collision was exceptionally violent. The white minivan containing 10 children was literally smashed to pieces. Meanwhile, the truck crashed into another vehicle before bursting into flames. While many firefighters tried to bring the blaze under control, Brian braved the flames to come to the aid of the victims. But he was soon overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the accident.
Just absolute disaster everywhere. I don't remember how many, but that was definitely at the top of the list. So.
The minivan was carrying children from Louisiana. 5 of them died in the accident. The investigation went on to show that the truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel after having driven for almost 8 hours straight without stopping. The shadow of this tragedy now hangs over every operation taken by the local fire brigade. And this weekend, they are under particular strain because the whole country is celebrating Thanksgiving.
Oh, what are you doing?
The most important holiday of the year in the United States. A sacred time that Americans spent with their families. The country's roads become inundated with around 55 million drivers. That's 1 in 6 Americans.
I think we're going to be in it for a while. We're in one of the corridors that is considered the worst in the country.
Drivers are willing to travel long distances to celebrate. Between the alcohol, the miles, and the fatigue, the firefighters are expecting 3 times more call-outs than on an ordinary weekend. So they're getting their dinner out of the way first. And as expected, this rare moment of respite doesn't last long. Lieutenant Corey Brooker is at the helm of today's operations, armed with over 10 years' experience.
There are 2 vehicles involved. It's at the intersection of the Interstate and Newberry Road, which has an on-ramp that goes into the interstate. All we have right now is that there are 2 vehicles and there might be someone that's injured.
The fire brigade has to get to the accident scene as quickly as possible, 10 kilometers from the fire station. At the scene, the police have already arrived, but there is some confusion.
Okay, are you injured? Do you need a medical assistance or anything? Okay, cool. She's okay. I'm checking on her. They said that she might need medical, and I haven't checked on that one yet. So if you want to go check.
Corey is having trouble identifying the injured motorist.
Hey dear. How are you? Okay, do you want to go to the hospital?
It's this young woman in her 30s.
I don't know if I need to or not.
Okay.
I'm shaken up, but...
The driver doesn't appear to have been physically injured, but she is in a state of severe shock. A few minutes ago, while at the wheel of this white car, she almost caused a terrible accident on the motorway.
I was going and I don't know why, because I didn't notice the light was red until I had already went.
So you were headed this way and a car hit you coming off the interstate? Is that what happened?
This is the first wreck that I remember. Yes, hopefully, yes.
The young woman had just spent Thanksgiving with her family. A policewoman tries to find out some more details about the accident itself.
You remember how fast you were going?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just a guesstimate. It's like a little dummy box.
Probably like 40, 45. Yes, ma'am.
Airbags deployed?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
In Florida, 0.4 milligrams of alcohol per liter of air expired is permitted, the equivalent of 2 beers. In many parts of Europe, this threshold is almost 2 times lower. The driver who caused the accident claimed not to have been drinking. Shockingly, the police officer doesn't subject her to a breathalyzer test.
Okay. But no problem. You know which lane you were in?
However, on this busy road, the young woman's carelessness could have had far more serious consequences.
These cars are coming off of the interstate, and I don't know if you've noticed, but there's already been several people running red lights, and I don't like being here. This is a very dangerous intersection. People are looking at the accident and not the road, and yeah, you'll see a lot of times you'll see a car crash followed up by 2 or 3 more wrecks in the same area. I want to get the patient treated as quickly as possible and get him out of here.
Half an hour after the accident, the driver is still very shaken up.
Pretty high pressures, and I know you got a lot going on right now, and I understand that.
It's the second pressure we got was 190 over 115.
Can you call my mom real quick and see if she thinks I need to move up?
The firefighters don't want to take any risks. Such high blood pressure could lead to cardiac arrest.
Good, nice and smooth, okay?
The woman will be taken to hospital by another team of firefighters for further tests.
We're gonna get you on the stretcher here, okay? Okay, go sit right there for me, okay? Wrap those legs around. Beautiful. We're gonna put a little bar up next to you.
I spun.
As for Corey, he already has another incident to get to, and it's on the same motorway. He must travel a further 25 kilometers. The lieutenant has been given very little information. This time the situation looks a lot more worrying. A man is on the ground with what looks to be a serious head injury. He has lost a lot of blood.
Your chest right now, is that your only place you're hurting right now?
How is his situation?
He's alert and talking. He's just not, but he's pretty wounded. So we're transporting him to the hospital.
The victim has suffered a head injury. The main risk is bleeding in the brain.
Backboard underneath you, we're gonna help roll you over. Which side are you hurting on, Chris? Right side. We're gonna be a little bit of moving. You got it.
Corey knows that you must be extremely careful when moving an injured person. The slightest shock could cause a brain hemorrhage. The man also has several broken ribs and a possible punctured lung, which would explain his difficulty breathing. The police are trying to shed light on the circumstances surrounding the tragedy.
There's no glass. There's no breaks in the glass.
Corey realizes that once again, foolish behavior at the wheel is what caused this accident.
We had this van, this car lady hit him, and he ended up crawling. He didn't get ejected.
This seriously injured man is responsible for this dangerous maneuver. As for the fire brigade,
anywhere right here, man? No, right there.
Their priority is to get him to hospital as soon as possible. Doctors discovered that, in addition to his head injury, the victim had a punctured lung. The man underwent emergency surgery. Without the quick intervention of Corey and his team, he would probably have died right there on the interstate, as many others have on Thanksgiving weekend. On the Interstate 4, firefighters save lives, often when the victim is on the verge of death. This was the case for 22-year-old Jackson Kelly. His life had turned upside down on 28th of February 2019, a day that started just like any other.
driving, and I was on the way to school. Driving was just like a sport. It was fun. I wasn't that worried about my safety. I'd never really had an accident or anything.
It was 7:50 a.m. rush hour on that fateful day, and the young man was driving through the town of Sarasota. This footage caught by hotel security cameras shows his black car traveling in the left-hand lane.
And there's a lot of cars. It's rush hour, in the morning, everybody's on their way to work, on their way to school. I was just driving in my lane, yeah. And when I saw him in front, I didn't have that much time. It was a split-second decision, you know. I saw them, and I thought they saw me, right? So I went.
But the driver of the grey minivan continued his unsafe maneuver. Jackson then swerved his steering wheel to try and avoid him. But it was too late. His vehicle was hit head-on. Impacted at more than 100 kilometers an hour, the car rolled 7 times and ended up crashing into a wall. As the minivan's driver fled the scene, the hotel guests rushed to Jackson's aid. On death's door, he was rushed to hospital, where he was put in an induced coma.
What's up, man?
What's up, Pops? Need a drink?
Yeah, do you have any bubbly water?
Supported through this ordeal by his father Michael, Jackson remained in a coma for 19 days, before waking up with severe complications. 6 broken ribs, 2 fractured vertebrae, and worst of all, a depressed skull fracture.
Doing great.
Giant.
Look at your family over there to the right.
He underwent 5 operations and received dozens of rehab sessions.
I'm diagnosed epileptic. I can't really play basketball. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't supposed to be this good. I wasn't supposed to be okay. And I am okay, so, you know, I was supposed to be dead or a vegetable, or I'm a survivor.
A survivor of a troubling trend that is wreaking havoc on Interstate 4, hit and runs. A very American expression to describe drivers who take off immediately after hitting a car, a motorbike, or a pedestrian. This woman even went so far as trying to physically prevent the guilty party from driving off. That wasn't enough to stop the car, but the victim didn't give up and chased the driver down until she caught up with her.
No, I didn't. I have the whole thing of dash cam.
Almost 110,000 hit-and-run incidents were recorded in Florida in 2021. 9 times out of 10, the drivers were uninsured, a very common practice in this state, where the average cost of insurance is $3,000. That's 40% more expensive than in the rest of the country. As a result, more than 1 in 4 motorists in Florida drives without insurance. And those who cause accidents try to flee because they risk up to 10 years in prison and a fine of several $1 million. In 80% of hit-and-run incidents, the perpetrators are never found. But in Jackson's case, his father Michael was determined to find the culprit, even going so far as to launch an appeal for witnesses on television.
Someone in the community knows what happened to him. Somebody needs to do the right thing and turn that person in.
Are you angry when you see that driver pull away?
He is fighting hard. The fact that the guy, just drove away, someone in the community knows who he is and where the car is.
The media coverage of Jackson's father prompted the police to work even harder, and in a rare result for hit-and-runs, the investigators managed to identify the offender.
Horrifying hit-and-run crash. A suspect now in custody as
24-year-old Zachary Brock, now under arrest, facing multiple charges after police say he took off from the scene seconds after impact.
Even more shocking is the fact that the man, who has been released on bail pending his trial, tried to justify his behavior in an interview.
I'm really sorry about what happened to, this kid. I freaked out. I didn't know what to do. I just got scared. I don't have my license.
He didn't have a driving license, so he wasn't insured either. The young man was sentenced to 5 years in prison. In 2021, hit-and-run crashes on Interstate 4 claimed the lives of 70 people. But one man has turned the rising number of accidents on Interstate 4 into a thriving business model. Mark Seigan is the head of a small car repair empire.
What you got? It's going to be an impound, and they're going to be at the mobile.
A policewoman from the local sheriff's office is on the line. A car needs to be towed urgently.
Mobile station. All right, very good. All right, thank you. Thank you.
By setting up here in 2012, the breakdown mechanic has chosen a strategic location that allows him to get anywhere on the I-4 in less than an hour. A major advantage over his competitors. Thanks to this, he's the first port of call for the authority. He's called to every 2 out of 3 incidents on this road.
We've been called out to a gas station. It appears to be like it's going to be a driver's arrest.
The petrol station is only 8 kilometers away, but the police are waiting for him, so Mark has no time to lose. The mechanic knows the procedure like the back of his hand. This grey car is the impounded vehicle. Its owner, the man in the red trainers, was driving without insurance. He will have to pay a $500 fine. This time, the offending driver was intercepted before he could attempt a hit and run.
We're right here on Memorial. We'll be there shortly.
These uninsured vehicles earn the breakdown mechanic just under $6,000 a month. While waiting for the owners to pay up, cars are parked on this huge 10,000 square meter site.
We're a police impound yard. Vehicles brought in here have been brought in from an accident or a driver's arrest.
Towed here after an accident, around 250 wrecks are piled up in this car graveyard. Business is booming for the breakdown mechanic. His teams are sent out to about 15 different incidents a day.
Crash. And how many vehicles? 2 vehicles.
The latest accident has taken place just 12 kilometers away.
Hey Joey, the sheriff's department just called. Got a vehicle accident on 98 North. Gonna need 2 flatbeds. Are you available?
Yep, I'm heading up there to go get it.
Two of Mark's colleagues arrive at the scene in less than 10 minutes. Joey and Mario have to move quickly as traffic has been crawling along slowly for over an hour on this busy road. The vehicles involved are this red pickup truck and this black car.
It was a violent crash. I mean, when you see debris that's spread out in a wide pattern like this, it was a very violent crash.
This shopkeeper, whose store overlooks the road, witnessed the collision.
So she was coming from that road right there to turn on this road, and I don't know if that truck ran the red light or not, but they hit at about 50, 60 miles an hour. Me and another customer ran out of my store and to assist, and this lady was unconscious. The other driver, I know she got out of her car and then collapsed on the ground.
2 drivers were rushed to the nearest hospital. For retailers, witnessing this kind of car accident has sadly become the norm.
At this intersection, it's kind of common, yeah. Maybe once every 2 months or so.
A startling observation that epitomizes the frequency of accidents on Interstate 4. And every time the breakdown services are assigned to do more than just towing, just like in Europe.
Can you tell me why you're doing this?
To pick up the oil. So that way cars will not slip and I won't cause another accident. And then we need to leave the scene the same way it was before an accident. So we need to leave it nice and clean and all the debris away from the street.
To make sure the road is spotless once again, the recovery teams must make sure there's no more debris littering the tarmac. After this express cleanup operation, Mario's back to business. The family of one of the victims has just arrived.
Driving the car. Ahora sí te la puedo llevar a la casa. Cuando te lo llevo a la casa, seguro se va a sentar y se va a tardar. Mientras si tú tienes full coverage, son el dueño del carro.
The father of the red car's driver will have to pay $500. He'd rather pay this price, though. He has just found out that his daughter is going to be okay.
No, gracias a Dios que está bien. A pesar de cómo está la troca, gracias a Dios que ella está bien.
The other driver also survived the accident, despite several fractures. The car will end its day among the countless vehicle wrecks of the I-4, but the road's real graveyard lies elsewhere. At the heart of an area with a morbid reputation known as the Dead Zone. Here, a bridge barely 500 meters long has been the scene of around 2,000 accidents, twice as many as on the rest of the road. And yet the authorities have widened this stretch of road from 2 to 3 lanes, but nothing has been done to prevent the accidents, and the locals have a rather unconventional explanation.
The highway connecting Florida's east and west coast has a long history of traffic mishaps and accidents, wrecks, and some strange sightings, too.
This photograph is one thread in a legacy of hundreds of highway deaths and ghostly apparitions, linked to a small stretch of I-4 known as the Dead Zone.
Erica, Ting, and Kathy have a company specializing in supernatural phenomena. They are convinced that this stretch of the I-4 is haunted because bodies are said to be buried beneath the road.
It should be this section right there that is where the graves are.
To prove their theory, they are determined to detect the presence of paranormal activity.
It's called dowsing rods.
Thanks to some rather unusual tools, a kind of magic wand, these rods supposedly detect vibrations emitted by lost souls.
With the dowsing rods, they can help us locate things also.
In complete sincerity, Ting concentrates on contacting the spirits.
Are you with us right now? If you're with us right now, make an X.
The young woman is a firm believer.
Thank you very much.
And on the very first try, Ting claims to have communicated with the beyond.
Can you point to where you're standing right now, please? Where are you right now?
According to Ting, the rods are pointing to the Dead Zone Bridge.
Spirits, can you show us where the graves are at, please? Where are the graves? You can see it's pointing in that direction right off the bat. Can we straighten back up real quick? How many graves are there? Are there just... Or they're telling us there's 4 graves there. Can you straighten back up, please? So that's really, really cool that they answered us right off the bat.
Another peculiarity of this section of the I-4 is that it's impossible to pick up any telephone signal.
We're in a major city here, so cell service usually is really good, but for some reason this spot, it goes out.
Yeah, you can see. Oh, see, it even dropped more.
GPS will freeze in this area. It just halts altogether, and then it recalculates in a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's just creepy to drive through here at night.
That feeling, yeah.
It's very creepy feeling.
The reason, they say, is that the government purchased the land to build Interstate 4 without relocating the graves dating back to 1887. They are said to have built the road directly over the bodies, upsetting the spirits. Strange accidents have been happening ever since.
We don't know what causes it. It's not an architectural defect or anything, but something, maybe an outer force is causing that. And it could be the graves that are buried underneath this section of I-4.
Right, but anytime they try to molest this area, more bad things happen. And I don't know about you, but if you mess with grave sites and things that are held sacred, they will retaliate. And I think that's kind of what's happening in this spot.
Every 2 days, the Dead Zone is the scene of a new accident. Each one just goes to fuel the sinister legend behind mile 165 of Interstate 4. In Florida, this dreaded highway continues to trial and test motorists who dare to venture out on it. In 2022, 200 lives were taken on this road, 10 more than the previous year.